Hey, free thinkers, at my kitchen table again, because like I said, this is a kitchen table conversation that we're having. So, last night I made a post about the two hurricanes that are now embarking. One came to Florida, went to North Carolina, and then we just have another one that's in Florida. And in my post, I said that FEMA was only giving out $750, and that hopefully this doesn't happen to Florida, because the federal government is not in a position to help out Americans. And then this morning I got up to a comment from a Dr. Smith, and I don't have a problem with the back and forth, but we got to be respectful to each other. And first comment was that I was loud and ignorant. Shame, guilt, need to be right. You didn't have to go that route. Just say, listen, while I see your post, I disagree with what you're saying, but the shame and guilt came first. And during the conversation, the doctor decided to say, boy, go sit down. Now, as you could see, I'm a grown man. I'm a husband and a father and a grandfather. What I've done for society, I have done in the good name of God. I've protected who I am because I know who I am. But in that same instance, we don't have to get down to where we're name calling. And what I said was that the president have the authority to the executive order to change the voucher from $750 to $5,000. And Dr. Smith said, boy, go sit down. Now, this couldn't be a woman that's married, because if you show this to your husband, your husband see that you call a grown man a boy, especially a black man a boy, cross the face. And if you have a father in your life and you show this to him, cross the face, because you don't call no grown man a boy. That's besides the point. So, if you did your research, you would find out that the president has the executive order and the authority to override anybody in the federal government. Congress cannot override an executive order. They can bring it to the floor to vote on it to see if the executive order stands or not, but they do not have the power nor the authority to override it. So the president can make the voucher from $750 to $5,000 if you did your research on the executive order and the power of the president. But that's not what you did. I asked you 3 times, what type of doctor are you? And you consistently say for me to go sit down. I'm a grown man. I stand up on all 10 feet. I don't sit down. I lay down for no one. I know who I am. And then I see in your profile that you are a black woman. And a black woman calling a black man a boy, that's a problem. We've been having this problem in society for a very long time, because you say you're a doctor. But a lot of people call themselves doctor. We have Dr. Zeus, Dr. Dre. We got dentists that call themselves doctors, So I understand, Dr. Smith. I understand. But you see, your way of doing this was incorrect. And I'm going to leave it like that. But again, Florida did get hammered. And let's see what the federal government's going to do, since this president and this vice president is still in office. Let's see if they will override the $750 and make it $5,000. That $750 can't even pay my Range Rover payment. And I got 3 of them. Makes no dent in it. So what is $750 going to do? And why do I have to reapply? You see, my grandmother always said this to me. She said, you got to be careful of the people who comes with gifts, bearing gifts. God always wants something for it. Always. And these people come bearing gifts in the microphone because that's what they want, time. You know, for me, my part right now for North Carolina is that I've donated to my church cases of water, feminine product, batteries, flashlights. But I'm getting ready to go back down there in a couple of weeks to help out. I'm also part of my sister's widow's ministry, to where these pastors died and the church now voted to get a new pastor, and the previous pastor's widow have to leave. And it's funny because I go sit with some of these churches, and the men that are in there understand, because the men are there to provide and protect. And you know, they're saying like, yeah, we should do something for the pastor's wife. And you know, the women in the church will say stuff like, this B gotta go. I hated her anyway. She'll appear every Sunday, think she's better than everybody. Women say that, not the men. So when you hear it's a civil conversation to where you're making a point, and instead of saying, I think your point of view is wrong based on the fact that I'm going to produce to you, I could understand that, because, you know, as a man, sometimes you're going to be wrong. But free thinkers know that we have to think first before we do certain things. But to come up with shame and insult for the first time, we don't even know who I am, calling me a boy, says how you were raised. You can't be married because your husband would have talked to you about that if you showed this to him. And your father would tell you, who you talking to? That's a grown man. So little girl, Dr. Smith, whatever doctor you are, okay, be careful of your comments and what you say to people. It doesn't bother me because I have kids your age, and that's how they talk. But have respect for your elders. I know way more than you, because you didn't even know that the president has the power to override Congress. The president, the sitting president and vice president, who are sitting there talking about reapply for $750, can say, we're going to give you $5,000 for your troubles of being an American. But they rather say, you must be careful of the former president. That's your answer, to be careful. But sometimes when you tell the truth, people take offense to it, because that's what they do when the truth hurt. So, free thinkers, think free. I'm gonna leave the link down below that you could go to my page. I'm not gonna call the page out on this platform because I don't know how they feel about it. But it will be down there at the bottom, or when this video ends, you'll see it. And my sister with me on the Power of the Spoken Word, and my sister represent the Widows Ministry, that she's trying to help a lot of these widows with our pastor died, and how these churches are putting them out on the street. So free thinkers, always think free.